Captain Marcus Chen hadn't expected his shore leave on Station Artemis 7 to involve adopting what the locals called a kit form. The fox-eared alien had been huddled in the alley beside the noodle shop, her rust-colored tail wrapped around skeletal limbs, amber eyes tracking every passerby with the desperate calculation of the starving. Most species in the Galactic Assembly gave humans a wide berth. They'd earned their reputation as the newcomers who somehow survived everything. Toxic worlds, radiation belts, even the Kresh border wars. But Marcus had never bought into the whole Death Worlder mystique. He just saw a scared kid who looked like she hadn't eaten in days. "Hey," he'd said, crouching down to her level. "You hungry?" The kit form. Yuki, she'd whispered in broken standard, had stared at him like he'd offered her the galaxy itself. 3 bowls of ramen later, she'd stopped shaking. 5 bowls in, she'd started crying. By the 7th, she was smiling, her tail swishing behind her in what Marcus had learned was pure contentment. That had been 6 weeks ago. Now she followed him everywhere. "Marcus, Captain," Yuki said, her accent still thick but improving. She stood at attention beside his quarters door, her salvaged maintenance jumpsuit 3 sizes too large. "Morning duty report, corridor cleaned, air filters checked, waste reclamation monitored." "Yuki, you don't have to—" Marcus started, but she'd already moved on. "Breakfast ready? Human-style eggs, toast with butter spread. Tried new technique watching human cooking database." Marcus sighed, but couldn't suppress his smile. The first week, she'd slept outside his door despite his protests. The second, she'd somehow convinced station maintenance to let her assist with duties on his corridor. By week 3, she'd memorized his schedule better than his own AI assistant. His crew found it hilarious. "Got yourself a shadow," Commander Williams had laughed. "Very human of you, Chen. Feed something once and it becomes your responsibility forever." But Marcus had researched the kit forms after that first day. The species, the Vulpinians, were one of dozens that had barely survived first contact with the broader galaxy. Low-gravity worlders, they'd been exploited for their dexterity and small size, used as expendable labor in ship maintenance and mining operations. Many ended up abandoned on stations like Artemis 7 when their contracts expired. The Galactic Assembly considered it an unfortunate byproduct of expansion. Humans called it something else entirely. "Captain Chen," Station Administrator Vex 9 buzzed over comms one morning, their insectoid voice clipped with irritation. "We must discuss the Vulpinian following you." Marcus stood in the administrator's office an hour later, Yuki hovering nervously behind him despite his instruction to wait outside. She never went far. "The kit form has no documentation," Vex 9 continued, compound eyes glittering. "No work visa, no sponsor, no legal standing on this station. She must be removed to a refugee processing center. There is a transport leaving for Detention Facility 47 in 2 cycles." "Detention facility," Marcus repeated slowly, "for being poor and hungry. For being undocumented." Vex 9's mandibles clicked. "Human, you must understand, we cannot simply allow strays to remain. It creates precedent." Marcus felt that familiar heat rising in his chest, the one that had gotten him reprimanded more than once during his academy days. But he'd learned to channel it. "What if she had documentation?" he asked. "Impossible without a sponsor willing to—" "I'll sponsor her." Marcus pulled out his data pad. "Human Federation law allows citizens to sponsor displaced individuals for work and residency. I'm formally requesting Yuki be registered as my assistant." Vex 9's translator struggled with what might have been a scoff. "Humans and their pets. You understand this creates legal obligations? Financial responsibility? Housing, medical care?" "I understand perfectly." Marcus signed the digital forms with swift, decisive motions. Behind him, he heard Yuki's sharp intake of breath. The administrator's antenna twitched. "Very well. But Captain, when your kind inevitably abandons these creatures as others have, remember you could have simply let the system handle it cleanly." Walking back through the station corridors, Yuki stayed silent for a long time. Finally, in a small voice, she asked, "Why?" Marcus stopped, turning to face her. Her ears were flat against her head, tail low, eyes shimmering with tears. "Why what?" "Why, this. Humans are powerful, important. Station administrator fears you. Your crew fears you. Whole galaxy speaks of humans like storms, like disasters with purpose." She wiped at her eyes with oversized sleeves. "Why help Yuki? Just kit form. Worthless, everyone says so." Marcus knelt down, meeting her gaze directly, You know what makes humans dangerous, Yuki? It's not our strength or our stubbornness or our refusal to die. It's that we look at the galaxy's rules, the ones that say some people matter less than others, and we say no. He stood, offering his hand. She took it carefully, her small fingers disappearing into his palm. You're not worthless. You were never worthless. You were just hungry, and alone and surrounded by people who'd convinced themselves that was somehow okay. He squeezed her hand gently. Humans are good at a lot of things, but we're best at one thing in particular. We remember what it feels like to be counted out. And we don't leave people behind. Yuki's tail began to swish again, slowly at first, then faster. Then, Yuki stays with Marcus, Captain? Yeah, Marcus said, unable to keep the warmth from his voice. You stay with me. As they walked back to his quarters, Yuki chattering excitedly about learning human cooking techniques and maybe studying engineering, like the crew members she admired, Marcus reflected that Commander Williams had been right. Very human indeed. Feed something once and it becomes your responsibility forever. He wouldn't have it any other way. The galaxy would just have to adjust.